So I wanted to make another comparison video, and I noticed that no one compared Killing Floor 1 and World at War Zombies. This is where it all started for both of these games, but which one is better? We'll have 5 rounds to find out. For the first round, let's start with something basic but important like the gameplay. Of course, both of these games are older, so we have to be mindful of that. With that being said, some people say Killing Floor 1 has the best gameplay in the series. Maybe you have to be a bit old like me, but it still feels satisfying and has a good pace to it. On the other hand, World at War's gameplay feels more outdated and even glitchy at times. Now, there are some things that I do prefer like the point system, but I would say that Killing Floor's gameplay feels more polished and there's less slips through the cracks. Not to mention things like all the different enemies. This first round definitely goes to Killing Floor 1. Alright, for round 2, let's talk about the atmosphere, because something these games have in common is that they're the most atmospheric games in their series. I love how dark and gritty these games feel. That's the main reason I play World at War nowadays. It just hit different back in the late 2000s. Do you feel old yet? Especially comparing the games that came out after, they usually go down a more sci-fi type of route, but something that I think gives World at War the edge is that they had that AAA quality to make it that much better and visually look less outdated, which is why it gets the point. Moving on to round 3, we have something that I find very important, and that's the progression and replayability. Something that I respect Killing Floor having from the get-go is a perk system. To this day, I'm still leveling up my perks. This gives a lot more meaning to everything you do. Meanwhile, World at War has nothing. Now, I'm not putting down World at War for not having a perk system or combat record for zombies, I just think it elevates Killing Floor that much more. And if I wanted to cover the in-game progression throughout a match, I do like buying doors to open up the map in zombies, but I also prefer the 10 waves in Killing Floor over the infinite rounds in zombies because it flows better, feels more orchestrated, and gives more closure. So this third round goes to Killing Floor 1. Things are starting to get juicy, and with round 4, we have something unique, and that's asking which game is more classic or iconic. Now, some of you don't know how big of a deal Killing Floor 1 is to the hardcore fans. Having a full lobby with friends and randoms with their mic on can be really intense and something special. Not to mention the custom maps, you just had to be there. But I'm not gonna lie, even discovering zombies in Call of Duty was a big deal. It's crazy knowing how zombies started and how far it went with games like Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3. People recognize the maps, characters, and weapons. COD Zombies left an impact on the culture, and early Zombies nostalgia just hits different. This one goes to World at War. Man, I just wanted to thank you for making it this far because we made it to the final round. These two games are neck and neck competing for that number 1 spot. It's a close one, but for this last round, as always, which game is more fun? It's a very simple yet complicated question. I'm biased towards World at War because I played it first. Like, there's only 4 maps, but each map is a banger in their own way and are potentially the most iconic maps in any zombie game that I'll also never get tired of. There's nothing like getting a friend or a squad and blasting your way through a zombies map. Now, I did play Killing Floor 1 a decade ago, so I do have fond memories of that too, but with how classic and nostalgic World at War is, I have to take off the nostalgia glasses. Killing Floor won the rounds for gameplay and replayability. What's more important than that? It might look more outdated, but it doesn't feel more outdated. World at War is more of a janky and clunky mess that I love. Even knifing a zombie is sketchy. This might be a little controversial, but after Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 3 remastered the maps in World at War, there's almost no reason to go back and play the originals, only the atmosphere, which I do appreciate, but I don't think as many Killing Floor 1 fans would say it got replaced by Killing Floor 2 or 3. Some Killing Floor fans still say the first one is the best experience to this day, and with the longevity of the perk system, I still feel like I have a reason to go back and play Killing Floor. Even if I maxed out every perk, Killing Floor 1 is more of the overall package, all things considered, in my opinion. That's why this last and final point goes to Killing Floor 1. So there you have it. Killing Floor 1 is the winner. It was close, and I know some of you aren't going to agree because it's not the popular vote, but I really tried being as objective as I can with multiple perspectives. There's a lot to consider. It's almost like picking my favorite child, but I think it's fun to break things down and see which game comes out on top. It's not as obvious as you think, but some of you might disagree with me, which I'm excited about. I'd love to hear opposing opinions or a different perspective. Drop a comment letting me know what you think, and I'm showing off some comments from my last Killing Floor video to give you guys a bit of a spotlight. I appreciate any support or feedback, and I like getting a discussion going, especially since I tried to keep it brief. I'm still surprised nobody made a video like this. And if you want to support me in the biggest way you can, like this Giga Chad right here, then become a member and I'll shout you out just like this. YouTube is a dream hobby and it really means a lot. But thank you guys for making it until the very end. I'm sick right now, so I hope I did alright. But these comparison videos are some of my favorites. Maybe you can let me know what comparison you'd like to see next. Here's some others on the screen. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. Either way, thanks for watching. Peace.